Ian here from It's on Cardiff, and we're joined with Stefanie Jones, who is none other than Mary Poppins, who's on the way to kind of come to Cardiff over the Christmas period. Thank you for joining us, Stefanie.
Thanks for having me.
So obviously, as I mentioned, you play Mary Poppins, and it's one of the all-time kind of great films and now stage shows. But for anyone who perhaps hasn't seen it or heard it before, can you just tell us what's it about?
Well, it's about the Banks family, and I often like to say, even though that I am playing the titular character and it is called Mary Poppins, I often think it more to be about George Banks and his wife and his children and how they're really stuck in a rut and how they're not communicating and money's tight and they're struggling to find a nanny to look after the children and they're struggling to sort of keep up with social expectations and they just sort of feel like their world is crumbling around them and how Mr. Banks is sort of um, repeating. He's sort of stuck in this cycle of parenting, and he's parenting the same way that he was parented, which kind of made him grow up to be very stern and unfeeling. And then this magical nanny, Mary Poppins, intervenes as she always does so seamlessly and slots into their lives without them almost even knowing or understanding how she came to be. And she sort of writes their world for them through magic and through incredible songs, and each song that has a gorgeous life lesson for the kids, and it changes their lives for the better.
And if people haven't kind of picked up, obviously you're from Australia,
Yeah.
even though you are Stefanie Jones. Do you have any kind of Welsh connections?
I think I do actually. My dad was born in Ireland, but we know that preceding my father, there's a bit of Welsh history. Yeah. So I really have been wanting to do one of those genealogy tests. I haven't got around to it, but maybe now's the time that I'm coming to Cardiff.
So, I mean, obviously, you played Mary Poppins for a while now, and you started off in Australia, and now this is the UK and Ireland tour. Um, how did the role first come around for you?
Well, as the process often tends to be in Australia, there's a brief release that says a certain company is going to be producing Mary Poppins and auditions will take place at this time. And uh, there were a few friends around me who sort of were giving me a bit of a wink saying you'd be good for that, but there was no world where I thought I would get the role. I was vying for the understudy. I hoped at the very least they would consider giving me the understudy plot. But then as I went through the audition process, things were going so well, and I just felt so comfortable with the material and it sat beautifully in my voice, and I really understood the direction that I was getting in the room, and it kind of just fell into place in one way. But on the other hand, I don't want to discount the hard work that it took to land the role. It took many auditions, a lot of practice and dedication, and including a flight to London to meet Cameron McIntosh for my final audition. So it was a huge process, but it was worth all the hard work.
Obviously, there's so many kind of infamous people who have played Mary Poppins. Obviously Julie Andrews, um, and more recently Emily Blunt. Do you take any? Is your version of Mary Poppins kind of similar to theirs?
I think it would be very hard to not have some influence from, especially from Julie Andrews, kind of just by osmosis, really. I mean, I've been watching the film since I was such a young child, and even just her voice separate to the film is so iconic, and the songs are so iconic. But as well to that, I feel like the script has been written in such a way by Julian Fellows that there's kind of like a timbre and a melody to the way that she speaks that it just you're just so informed by the text. So whilst you never want to set out to do an impression of someone, especially of someone like Julie, because there's no point trying to fill her shoes. She's incredible. But I just think there's sort of a melody to the text, I guess, that comes that suddenly you're like, oh, here she is. And if you're speaking in a British accent, then I think you're bound to sound like people's memory of Mary Poppins, and that you do want to feel that nostalgia for people too. Like it is so nostalgic for so many people, and that's why they keep coming back, and that's why the musical has been running for 20 years as well, because it is so popular. So you do want to do right by it as a piece. Yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned obviously the songs. I mean, they're a huge part of this of the show, and just to kind of name it through, supercalifragilistic or anything can happen. How hard are they to kind of perform, or which one's the hardest?
Look, I don't know. It changes night to night. It depends how, tired you might be feeling or how many shows you've done that week. There were certainly a few moments that took a long time to learn. Step in time, the famous tap number, that goes for 11 minutes. So that's a lot of choreography to learn, a lot of staging, a lot of like running up and down over chimneys. And then, of course, supercalifragilistic is so famous for its choreography. Stephen Mear choreographed that piece. His partner is deaf and uses sign, and he based so many of the movements off of sign language, which is just an incredibly special piece to perform, especially for our differently abled audience members. And it's that's why this show is for everyone, But they're really fun. Once you get them like down, once you get all the choreography down, then it's just a blast to do.
Yeah, and obviously you're currently on tour now, and you're in Milton Keynes, but you're about to arrive in Cardiff at Christmas. Is it something a little bit more special about performing such a magical show at Christmas time?
I have to tell you, we were all elated when we found out that over Christmas we would be in Cardiff. It just feels like such a perfect marrying of like all of our wildest dreams because it is such a beautiful show to be performing at Christmas time. And that, so like Christmas informs our show experience and the show is informing our Christmas. So it's just sort of this gorgeous cycle of joy. And then the fact that we get to be in Cardiff, which I've never visited before, but I've heard it's such a beautiful, beautiful place. And as an Australian who normally has a summer Christmas, I am so looking forward to that winter vibe. I mean, all the films that I grew up watching, all the Christmas films are always set in the winter with snow and, whatever else. So I'm very excited. It's just it's perfect scheduling.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you get to carry around that red umbrella onto stage, and obviously Mary's got a number of different kind of like magic tricks would it be. What magic trick would you let or magic? Would you say magic trick? What special power would you like to if Mary could kind of grant you one?
Oh gosh, I mean, first of all, I would love to say that the magic in the show is second to none. It's just incredible. The people who design this show, design the set, figure out how to make the magic work, I think are just so brilliant. And you can hear the response from the audiences every night when they are just so enamored about how I just pulled that hat stand out of that bag. It's amazing. And to carry around the iconic umbrella too is so special. And of course, I just have to say, if I had any of her magic, I would love to be able to fly. Are you kidding me? That would be absolutely amazing.
I mean, is there an element of flying in this show?
Yes, there is, and which
Okay, good, good.
which is such a dream come true for any actor. Actors always want to, give that a go creatively to just experience performing in a harness in the air. But I won't say too much more. The audiences have to come and see.
Great stuff. Well, I'm looking forward to arrive. I know everybody else is as well. But for anyone who perhaps maybe is watching this, why should they come and see Mary Poppins when it arrives next week? Is it next week?
Oh, we actually we finish at the end of this week in Milton Keynes, and then we have a week off. So we
Very
are,
nice
yeah,
one.
actually you're right. I mean, we're 10 days away, 10 or 14 days away. Very close. It'll be here in no time. I mean, I would just say that there is a common misconception that Mary Poppins, being the Disney product that it is only for children. And of course, it's for children of all ages, and it speaks to them so beautifully. But the story that I keep hearing at stage door every night is that it's the parents and the grandparents who are coming to bring their children or their grandchildren who are so shocked at how it has affected them. It really is for everyone. I mean, it's about family and connection and healing generational trauma. And I think all of us have experienced that in some way or another. And it's, those older patrons who said, oh, I'm coming back again, or I've already been to see it 10 years ago and I had to come back. It's like, yeah, this one keeps bringing people back. And that's why it's been running so successfully. There's something in it for everyone. It's very touching. It's got an incredible storyline. When you take away all the spectacle of it, which is incredible, it just has such amazing heart. So that's why I think it's so loved.
Very well, I can't wait. And thank you very much for talking to us.
Oh,
I
thank
hope it's
you.
not
See you
too
there.
cold where you are. Do you have much snow in Milton Keynes at the moment?
No, there is only a bit of sleet, no snow yet, but I'm sure that you all aren't wishing for the snow, but I'm certainly wishing for the snow. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm definitely wishing for the snow. It seems to hit everywhere apart from Cardiff all the time. We always get missed out, but it's definitely cold, and it's definitely Christmassy, and we can't wait for Mary Poppins to arrive.
Can't wait to be there. See you there.
So thank you very much, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Cheers, bye.